In our last video, we took a little break from bolting on horsepower to freshen up our tired stock suspension and worn out brakes. With that taken care of, it's time to tackle our final task that will allow us to fire this thing up and get it running great. While your engine may be the heart of your car, engine management is the brains of the operation. You've seen me bolt on a bigger turbo, fuel pump, injectors, a larger intercooler, and a high-flowing exhaust, but without proper engine management, all of these parts are pretty much useless. I think Pirelli said it best. Power is nothing without control, and that is especially true when it comes to making good, reliable power from your engine modifications. In the past, I fooled with various piggybacks, band-aids, and other Atari-era trickery to handle my engine management. It was out of necessity, really, as your choices back then were either piggyback controllers or a full standalone ECU of some sort. Back in the late 90s, I remember using my old data logger while at the same time fiddling with VPC knobs and super duper AFC settings. All of this was better than messing with carburetors and distributors like I did when I was younger, but I longed for something better. Well, everything changed when I found out about ECMLink. In case you're not familiar with it, ECMLink provides all of the tuning and data logging capability that you could ever want for your DSM, Galant VR-4, or early Lancer Evolution. ECMLink is easy to use for beginners, yet offers complete control over fuel and timing maps for advanced users. It can run any number of engine combinations from bone stock to 1000 horsepower drag setups. ECMLink is the perfect engine management for the Galant and is most likely the best choice for your 4G63 powered car. Let's get to work. The first step to addressing our engine management is to locate the ECU and remove it. In the Galant, it lives in the passenger side kick panel. These ECUs are not aging well due to capacitors that leak onto the circuit board and damage surrounding components. Given that fact, it's vitally important that you inspect your ECU for damage, as a dying ECU will give you all sorts of drivability problems and other issues. I got a little surprised when I pulled this ECU out of its home in the form of this sticker. Now I know it says here that I'll void the warranty if I break this seal, but something tells me that there wasn't an available 11-year extended warranty on this thing. After removing 4 screws, the top part of the case can be pulled off. Now we get a great view of our ECU internals. Whenever I look at one of these, I always think of the famous scene in Star Wars when the rebels are flying over the surface of the Death Star. Speaking of stuff that blows up, here are the capacitors that I spoke of earlier. These ECUs can become damaged in other ways too, but leaking caps are the most common problem. Here you can also see the factory EPROM chip. ECMLink replaces this factory chip with their genius solution, a chip that is bundled with an added memory board and flash device. This gives our aging ECUs a powerful modern upgrade that offers more memory and allows you to access, modify, and store tuning changes quickly and easily. Folks, it wasn't that long ago that you had to get a new EPROM chip burned every time you made a setup change. This is awesome. If your ECU has a factory EPROM chip like mine, the folks at ECM Tuning can socket it for you so that the ECU can accept the ECMLink chip. Also, they can test and inspect your ECU and make any repairs needed. This is an invaluable service if you want to drive and enjoy your car for a long time. If you don't have an ECU to start with, ECM Tuning also sells EPROM ECUs and can even convert a non-EPROM ECU to accept their chip. You know I love doing things myself, but for this type of intricate and delicate work, I sent my ECU to the experts at ECM Tuning. In no time, a box arrived at my door from ECM Tuning. Oh hey, Tiny UPS Man. Thanks, Tiny UPS Man. Inside was the ECMLink software CD-ROM, installation instructions, their clutch cut wire for 2-step and no lift to shift features, their high-quality cable that allows you to connect your laptop to your car's diagnostic port under the dash, and my now socketed and repaired ECU with the ECMLink chip already installed. The repairs they did go to show you that just because an ECU says it was rebuilt or refurbished doesn't mean that you can trust it. I know you guys love the sneaky stuff. Well, ECMLink is the ultimate stealthy modification. The secret to your power is hidden inside this unsuspecting little gold case.
Shh! Don't speak.
Since this is all ready to go, let's bolt it in. Reinstalling the ECU is easy, so now let's install our ECMLink cable and computer software. Installing the cable is straightforward. You just jam yourself under the dash, plug the big end of the cable into your diagnostic port next to the fuse box, and then route the other end of the cable to a convenient spot. I routed mine over to the passenger side along the console. This allows me to tuck it under the passenger seat when not in use. Next, I installed the ECMLink software on my laptop. This is also easy. You just pop the CD-ROM in and follow the instructions. Now we can wrap up a few final jobs in order to fire up this transformed beast. First up is an oil and filter change. This time around, I chose Valvoline's Racing Synthetic 20W50. This oil is recommended by Forced Performance for a variety of reasons, the main one being the high zinc and phosphorus content. At the same time, I filled up the transmission with some fresh Redline MT90 and topped off the transfer case with some shockproof gear oil. I also filled up the coolant and grabbed a helper to bleed my clutch. With those jobs done, we can finally bolt the wheels back on and get it back on the ground. I don't want to jump the gun here, but a small celebration was in order. Alright, I've worked on this car on and off for months now, and am dying to hear it run again. In this moment, the last thing I want to do is fool with complicated engine management settings, hoping that I get close enough for it to fire up without problems. To me, this is the best feature of ECMLink. When you order your V3 package, you specify the basics of your setup. Since I picked the mass airflow sensor and injectors that I'd be running, the folks at ECMLink pre-programmed my chip with these settings. So that means I didn't even have to plug in my laptop or do anything to hear the old Galant run again. I just got in and turned the key. It fired right up, and after getting up to temp, settled down to a smooth, solid idle. You would never know that we changed a single thing from our stock setup. How great is that? Oh, and here's a look at our stance with our new lowering springs installed. Alright folks, here we are in the car. Now you saw me fire up the car. I did start it and run it a little bit and take it around the neighborhood a few times just to make sure everything checked out. And you know, after I ran it and took it around town, I brought it back in, checked everything over, made sure all my fluids were good. Everything checked out, thankfully. That went smoothly. So now we're about to go on our first long drive, and which means more than, say, a few miles from my house, which I'm terribly excited about. This is a big moment. Been working on this car for months, and now here we are. The first thing we're going to do, though, is hook up the laptop and just do some idle data logs and then some light throttle data logging while we drive around. And clutch break-in time is a perfect time for this because, you know, you're not driving hard, you're not getting on it. I don't think I'm going to have to do very much, honestly. As I drove this thing around without even plugging in a laptop at all, it drove great. Honestly, it drove like a stock car. It's amazing to me. I remember a time with 850cc injectors. Boy, that'd be the last thing you could say. The idle would be rough, and you'd, you know, have some stumbling and other weirdness. This ran smooth as silk like a stock car. It's just incredible to me. So now we'll plug in the laptop for the first time and just take a look at everything. All right, folks, come on, let's go. While we have ECMLink running here on the laptop, let's take a quick tour of the interface. Clicking on the ECU config button gives you tons of features. You can set your idle, rev limits, you could set up speed density, control your timing, fuel, you can check out your diagnostic trouble codes, adjust different ECU inputs, and much, much more. Alright folks, we're driving. We're out on the road having fun. I tell you, this is so great. I'm really enjoying this. I miss driving this car. I mean, 4 months or more went by where we were wrenching on it, and it's great to be back on the road again, really. I gotta say, first off, all of your enthusiasm and positive support and comments really helped keep me motivated. There were a few times there when I don't know, I just kind of wanted to put on the back burner for a while, but I appreciate all the support. It was really awesome. I just wanted to share some of my initial impressions of the car during clutch break-in and this early time of getting it together. Right off the bat, what strikes you about the car is just how completely stock it feels and sounds. It's like the only giveaway is a little bit of vibration due to the solid motor mount we did in the front. Other than that, I mean, I've got the air condition on right now. It rides smooth as silk. You know, we did the suspension work. You would never know. It rides smooth as silk, air condition blasting, quiet. It sounds completely stock. And you know, as I look under the hood, I see like, it looks like nothing's been done. Yeah, it's like I've never worked so hard to see so few results, but that's the whole fun of this project, I guess. I'm really happy that I didn't upset anything about the car. You know, my Talon was a real animal, and driving it was an experience. I mean, you know, it was just on like the ragged edge of a street car, in my opinion. And this is just completely calm, smooth, and docile. And that's exactly what I was going for. A car that was smooth and quiet, and I could haul the kids around and have air conditioning and you know, all that good stuff. But yet it would be an animal if we took it to the track or opened it up. So far, so good in that respect. One thing I'm picking up on, obviously I've got the ACT 2600, and I think there's a scorching case of RCLS coming my way. That clutch pedal's pretty stiff. It's not as bad as some as I've experienced, but it's pretty bad. After a few trips around the neighborhood, I did have to adjust the clutch pedal a little bit, which is common. But right now it's feeling really good between shifts and all. Regarding the suspension, you know, we didn't do anything major to it. The replacement struts we used were pretty much a stock replacement, and the springs, I think it was a 1.3 and 1.4 inch drop, pretty mild overall. And the ride, I'm very pleased with the ride. It's extremely smooth and stock feeling, really, but around turns and things feels much more planted and controlled. You know, the original struts were on here before, and you would go around a turn, it just felt all loosey-goosey. I wasn't sure what was going on, and I hoped it was the struts, and replacing those has completely cured that. I mentioned the exhaust earlier. There's zero exhaust sound. I mean, I don't have any special microphone or anything, just this camera microphone, and it's just incredible how quiet it is. It's just, I thought adding that 3-inch section and that sort of thing might make it a little louder, but it is completely silent. I can't wait to hear it cracked open though. I am doing some light throttle data logging as we go here, and I'm not seeing anything surprising, and I haven't changed a single setting. It's just running excellent. Everything looks really clean, so very happy with that. I would say it's a little less responsive, which is to be expected when going up a couple sizes in turbo, but you know, I can't really get on it or anything due to the clutch break-in, but I can just feel that sweet 4G63 torque in there. As I'm going around this big sweeper here, I can just tap into it a little bit, and the car is just pulling itself right up the hill. You know, for this first long drive, I'm really pleased right now. Nothing weird going on, no weird noises. Like I said, a little bit of vibration and feel from that motor mount, completely to be expected, but really happy right now.
Thanks for watching, everyone. I truly do appreciate it. I also want to thank ECM Tuning, Detective Coding, and Forced Performance for supporting Tom's Turbo Garage. Please check them out, as they not only do great work, they're great people too.